LED rails right here. It is a lighting controller. It came with a data cable and an integrated USB plug. I can't use that in my PC because this model's motherboard doesn't have any vacant USB ports on the motherboard. So for that, I ordered a running LED lit USB data cable. That plugs into the USB port on the controller. It came with this power cable, which has a Molex plug, and the barrel port. So this plugs into that. To keep from altering my original power cord that come with the lighting controller set, I'm going to use, let's see, this female Molex plug. This plugs into here. I'm going to cut this here and have my 4 ends hanging out. I'm going to cut this after I cut this one, and I'm going to resolder these two together to create my Molex to SATA connector. So I will solder and heat shrink this. I use rosin core solder. It came with this set, which is your 4-pin wire. It connects here and goes to this LED strip. Here's the LED strip up close. Don't know how well you can see it. Got a little free pack of stickers there from the graphics card. Is a clear LED lit case fan to replace the plain black plastic fan in the computer. This is a 92mm. There's only one case fan in this computer. I'm going to swap that out and light it up. The CPU has a fan. It's plain black. I found a 70mm LED fan. It lights up blue. I also have a vinyl print that's going to go on the other side of the computer. Here I have my PC side panel access cover. The hole that's cut out here, I determined its shape and size based on looking inside the tower and determining what portions of the internals that I want to see through the window. What I did was I took my measurements, and you can go about this whatever way's comfortable. Mine, I had to make sure I didn't mess with the slide rail or the tabs. I didn't want to get into the factory ventilation area. Drew it out on the back, and I took it to a place locally here that does water jet cutting. Water jet is a super fine stream of water. There's about 60,000 psi. It's kind of like a CNC router. It didn't do anything to harm this powder coated finish. It's truly amazing. I'm very impressed with it. You can try laser cutting if somebody does that. I don't recommend it. It's hot. It could contort the metal. Plasma will destroy it. I took this panel, I laid it on the plexiglass, and I drew out my pattern. You can kind of see it here, but without the glare. Drew out the pattern, and then I used a saw with a fine tooth blade, jigsaw, hacksaw blade, and went at it real slow at a high speed, and came up with this piece here. It cut really well. I just sanded the edges so they're not burred up and sharp. You place it where you're going to have it, and I made it just a hair larger than the opening, obviously, so I'd have room to put adhesive. I'm just going to use some 2-stage epoxy. That's a custom-made window in your PC panel. Not hard at all. This is the original cover before it's cut. This way it looks out of the box. What I'm going to do first is on this side that doesn't open. I had a company online print me a vinyl sheet to my requested size in a picture that I wanted. Here is the finished layover. Just take your time with this step and you'll be a lot happier if you decide to do this to your PC. Alright, what I'm doing now is I'm removing portions of the harness from the motherboard to make room. I do have a anti-static wristband on, clipped to the frame. And this is the case fan. I'm going to replace it with an LED. This is my heatsink with a plain black fan on it. I'm going to replace that with an LED fan. So I have to remove the 4 screws back here and there, and there's 2 more under there. You pull it off to replace the fan, then you put it back on using some new thermal paste, and I've gone with TG7 made by Thermaltake. At this point I'm going to pull this off and this off, the screws for this fan here, and they're located in the back. Alright, so the screws are out and I have removed it from the motherboard, and that simply just comes out like so. Looking at the fan, you just want to determine which way the airflow is. In this situation, do not need this Molex. So I believe I'm going to isolate this like so. Cut the Molex off, and I taped up the wires here, and I did a nice clean heat shrink. Here all we're doing is just screwing this in. These are typically self-tapping, very coarse threaded screws that are used on PC equipment. And don't tighten all of them up, because you may still need to move it just a little bit. Okay, tighten them all down. That's good. Now the LED case fan is in. I'm going to plug the computer back in and let it run for a little bit, thus heating up the paste that's already on the CPU. Let it get warm, and then I'll turn it off and immediately remove the heatsink. Power it up. There's the LED fan. Now it's showing 25 degrees. The motherboard's at 28 degrees. It is up to temperature, which means I'm going to shut it down and try to remove the CPU's heatsink. You're just going to turn these screws and try to be gentle with this. And we're out. At this point, I'm going to clean this with some alcohol, and you're going to want to use a coffee filter essentially, or a microfiber cloth, but coffee filters don't hold any dust. Alright, there is my Intel Core i7. Completely cleaned off. Here's the heatsink. The surface is nice and clean. Here's the HP fan. Came off of it. 4-wire. Here is the heatsink. Cleaned off with my new LED fan on it. So now the next step will be just to put it back on. And you just reverse the process that I showed you to remove the heatsink. Alright, now I take the TG7 thermal paste, and we will, I'm going to apply a pea-sized amount to my processor, Okay, pea-sized amount on the processor. So now, like I said, you just reverse the process for removing the heatsink. Now, the new LED fan from my CPU is installed on the heatsink. Heatsink is back in, its thermal paste is on. This one's a 3-pin connector. The original's a 4-pin, which means this one had a speed control from the motherboard. This one's just going to run open all the time, full speed, which is good. This came from eBay. This was eBay. This one was right around $4. That was with shipping. This one was about $6 with shipping. I have some wire loom here, blue and clear. It's from another computer. This is the control board. It's got a barrel connector for power, USB for its data. It's got a 3-pin for the signal to these LED strips, which are 3-pin. They run in series. This is a USB LED flow cable. Again, it was taken off of eBay for $2.99. That's free shipping. Okay, I did take a step back because I forgot something, but I had ordered a fan guard chrome for the 92mm case. So if you're in here working, you don't mess the fan up. I do have a 70 for the CPU, but I don't have any more screws at the moment, so that'll be for another day. Alright, now I've got one of the wires, lead wires, to my light rail, and I'm trying to determine where I'm going to position this. In my situation, I'm going to put it to have a display in the bottom. There's the case fan with the chrome grill. I have plugged it up. I have reinstalled the power supply for the CPU. Put the wire loom on. My lighting controller is sitting down under the hard drive bays. Got my USB cable back there. One lighting strip is mounted on the bottom. The other is mounted up this side. And there you have it. It's reassembled. The new see-through panel on the side. Got my GeForce graphics from NVIDIA. See the CPU fan. The case fan are both lit, and I've got my little Stormtrooper sitting in there. Okay. There's steady on. Again, we can change the colors to any color. We can go red, orange, yellow, green, just any colors in the spectrum wheel. We can turn on the breathing effect. It just pulsates. We can speed it up. It'll breathe in and out. Each one of these has a speed control as well. This is your marquee left. It's going from top down, then left to right. Again, that can be, you could speed that up like so, or we can slow it down real slow. We can reverse this, that's another function. And then we have a rainbow effect. It does every color in the spectrum. Pretty cool. So that's it. If you have any questions about what I did here, please feel free to leave a comment in the bottom, and I'll reply as soon as I can.
We make the strings louder.